Now let's dive into your account settings. So in the prior video, we went over your account setup, and that's where you gave Attentive things like your company address, your contact display name, whether you wanted to have a virtual contact card or not. All of this information is able to be edited in the UI after the fact. So you can see here, you can change your company address, you can choose what your sending time zone is, you can choose your contact display name, subheader, URL, company email, and then whether or not you want to even display that address. You also have a little bit more control around some of the functionality within your Attentive account. So underneath messages, you're going to see what's called smart sending. Smart sending basically stops you from sending messages too often to your subscribers. So let's say theoretically you have an abandoned cart flow and you're sending out a campaign that day. If you have smart sending turned on, and let's say you as a subscriber can only receive one text, and in this case it's every 8 hours, if I get an abandoned cart message at 10 a.m., but then the campaign is going out at noon, with smart sending, I'm not going to receive that campaign. But if smart sending was turned off, I still would receive that campaign. So smart sending prevents that duplicate sending, or basically too much volume going out to your leads and contacts, because you want to make sure, especially with SMS, that you're not annoying and causing massive unsubscribe rates within your program. So smart sending is a pretty useful tool. Next is quiet hours. So quiet hours prevents anybody from receiving messages outside of a certain time frame. Now, do you really want to receive a text message from a brand at 1 in the morning, even if you are browsing on their website? Probably not. So that's the main use case for this, is quiet hours prevent your subscribers from receiving automated message outside of that specified time window. And the next is your autoresponder. So this is what is sent out if somebody were to text back to your phone number or short code. So let's say I get a promotional message from a brand and I have a question and say, how do I apply this coupon to my order? An autoresponder would send this out immediately back to them. So it would say, hey, thanks for reaching out. If you need additional help, please reach out to us at Wine Insiders, at info@wineinsiders.com, or text opt out. Typically what we'll do here is we will have a particular keyword. So we'll say, hey, thanks for reaching out, reply help if you want to get patched through to customer service. And the reason why we have this autoresponder sort of gate between actually being able to reach customer service is because we don't want to have our CS team bombarded with messages that are like OMG, or this is so cool, or thank you, things that are, while great, don't require opening up a ticket in like our Gorgeous or Zendesk or customer environment. So these autoresponders help keep that volume down for our customer service team. Next is brand assets, which here is where you upload your fonts, your colors, and your logo. Pretty self-explanatory. Next is remove a subscriber. So if anybody reaches out to you via email or customer service and says, hey, I don't want to be a subscriber anymore, but they don't want to, or they don't know how to go through the standard SMS opt-out process via their phone, you can come in here, enter their mobile phone number, and get them removed from the program. Next is Google Analytics. This is simply the UTM parameters that are automatically appended to any of the texts that go out of the Attentive platform. So you have your UTM source, which is the refer of your traffic, in this case, Attentive, and then also your medium. So in this case, it's text. You could also change that to SMS or whatever fits within your naming convention for Google Analytics. Next is custom attributes. So we're going to dig into this a lot more in the actual course itself, but these are custom characteristics that you can build out via automated journeys in your Attentive account to store and segment your customer database. So for this wine type preference, for example, in our welcome flow, we ask customers whether they prefer red, white, or rosé. That's a custom attribute, so we've created that. Based off of how they reply, if they reply red, white, or rosé, that's stored in Attentive, and we can use that later on for segmentation. So if we want to create a group that only responded with rosé, we go into the segment builder and we'd say, wine type preferences equals rosé. And then that would give us a list of 100, a couple thousand, 10,000, whatever it may be, people who selected that they prefer rosé versus red or white wine. And then last is connected apps. So any external apps that can access your Attentive mobile account. Typically, our clients aren't using these because they're hosted on Shopify, and so all the integrations are going to be built out natively within the Attentive platform. But those are the Attentive account settings, and pretty straightforward. Really the main thing to take away from here is that you want to make sure in your messages section that you have your smart sending and quiet hours turned on to whatever cadence you think is going to be best for your customers.